Turkish capital was very cold. January 1977. A strong cold wind blew down Ataturk Boulevard, swirling snow into ghostly shapes. It was a city of secrets, hidden in shadow and mystery. In the center of Ankara, Colonel Sabahattin Savasman, a man who lived in the world of secrets, felt the cold go deep into his bones. Savasman was not a regular soldier. He was the deputy head of intelligence at the MIT, Turkey's national intelligence organization. His office was a safe place for secrets, a vault where the nation's most important information was carefully protected. He knew the country's enemies, the whispers of rebellion, the secret plans made in the dark of night. But this dedicated officer had a hidden secret that would ruin his life and shock everyone in the intelligence community. Driven by a very old motive, Savasman had become a traitor, selling his country's secrets to the person who paid the most. His betrayal was a deep, painful wound in the heart of Turkish intelligence, a betrayal that would have serious consequences. Savasman's treachery started during the Cold War. Turkey, an important member of NATO, was caught between the United States and the Soviet Union. Savasman, a strong anti-communist, became unhappy with what he saw as Turkey's weak relationship with the West. He had seen the wealth of the West during official visits, and he saw the prosperity that his own people didn't have. He began to feel resentful, thinking that maybe he was supporting the wrong side. He felt unappreciated and ignored. The Americans, always looking for opportunities, saw his weakness. They made him a generous offer, a lot of money, in exchange for secret information about the Soviet Union, their military movements, and their plans. What started as a small leak of information, a seemingly harmless exchange of secrets for money, quickly became a flood. Savasman didn't know that his secret activities hadn't gone unnoticed. Inside MIT headquarters, people started to suspect the once trusted colonel. His colleagues noticed his expensive habits, his unexplained wealth, and his unusual interest in things that weren't his job. Mahir Kaynak, the smart head of economic intelligence, was one of the first to notice the problems. Kaynak, a master of tricks himself, understood the signs of treachery. He started to secretly watch Savasman, putting together the pieces of his betrayal. The MIT, a close-knit organization where loyalty was everything, worked on a need-to-know basis. Information was kept separate. Savasman's access to sensitive information, especially about Turkey and Russia, raised alarms. His questions, his requests for documents, his sudden interest in areas outside his expertise all suggested a bad plan. When the suspicion became certain, MIT decided to set a trap, a carefully planned operation to expose Savasman's treachery and catch him in the act. They knew his weaknesses, his greed, his ambition, his desire for recognition. They planned to give Savasman fake information, false reports that looked real but had small mistakes, errors that would show they were fake. The bait was set, a tempting piece of intelligence designed to trick the unsuspecting colonel. Among the fake documents was a report about a secret agreement between Turkey and the Soviet Union, a pact that would have shocked NATO and changed the balance of power in the region. The report was perfectly made, a masterpiece of trickery with official seals, forged signatures, and just enough truth to make it believable. Section 5, Shifting Sands. The trap was set, everything was ready for the final act. The Americans and the British, blinded by their desire to use Savasman, didn't notice the counterintelligence operation happening right under their noses. They continued to meet with their informant, not knowing they were being led to their own downfall. Meanwhile, Savasman, driven by greed and resentment, believed the fake information. He thought he was in control, playing both sides, getting rich while shaping the world. He didn't see the truth. He was a pawn in a much bigger game, controlled by the very forces he thought he controlled. The Americans, the British, the Soviets, they were all pieces on a chessboard controlled by MIT. And Savasman, blinded by his arrogance, was about to make a huge mistake. Section 6, The Bait. Savasman called his CIA contact, whispering on the phone. He had something big, something that would shake NATO. The Americans, very interested, arranged a secret meeting at a safe house outside Ankara. But the safe house wasn't safe at all. It was completely controlled by MIT, with hidden microphones and cameras everywhere. MIT agents, disguised as ordinary people, blended into the neighborhood, watching the building, ready to act. Savasman arrived, his briefcase heavy with the evidence of his betrayal. He felt a rush of adrenaline, a mix of fear and excitement. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for, the moment he would become famous. He had no idea he was walking into a trap, a carefully planned operation that would expose him as a traitor. Section 7. The raid. Inside the safe house, the CIA station chief, William Phillips, waited impatiently. He was an experienced spy, but even he felt uneasy. He ignored it. The deal was too important. Savasman entered, looking calm, and gave Phillips the briefcase. Phillips opened it, looking at the documents. As he read, a look of disbelief, then horror came over his face. Suddenly, the door burst open. MIT agents, led by Ankara Regional Director Süleyman Yenilmez and a young officer named Mehmet Aymur, stormed in. "Colonel Savasman," Yenilmez shouted, "you are under arrest for treason." Section 8. Fallout. Savasman's arrest shocked the intelligence world. The Americans and the British were embarrassed. They quickly apologized, but their words meant nothing after such a clear act of espionage. Savasman, stripped of his rank and honors, faced a secret trial. He said he was innocent, claiming he was a patriot, but there was too much evidence against him. He was found guilty of treason and sentenced to 17 years and 6 months in prison. He died in 1994, remembered as a traitor. The Savasman affair hurt Turkey's relationship with the West. It made Turkey suspicious of the West, creating distrust that lasted for decades. It also showed how intelligence agencies can be threatened from the inside, the constant danger of spies and double agents working within their own ranks. Section 9. Legacy of betrayal. The full story of the Savasman affair remained secret for years. It wasn't until the Ergenekon trials of the late 2000s that details started to come out, revealing one of the most daring counterintelligence operations in Turkish history. Savasman's story is a warning, a reminder of the tempting nature of power, the bad influence of greed, and the terrible consequences of betrayal. His story is a lesson for those who would betray their country for personal gain, a reminder that justice, even if it's slow, always comes. The Savasman affair shows the skill and strength of Turkish intelligence. It is a story of betrayal and redemption, of espionage and counter-espionage played out on a world stage with very high stakes. And at the heart of it all is the scary truth that sometimes the greatest danger comes from within.